Hi, Colin Gwynn here with DJI, and in this video we're going to do a quick walkthrough of the Wookong-M assistant software. Now that we've got it all installed on the computer, our drivers are updated, our firmware is updated, we're going to take a look and kind of just give you a general overview of the software. So across the top here you've got Tool, About, and your English and different language settings. So right here in Tool, you can set your flight limits, you can do firmware upgrades, you can disable your knobs, and you can check for updates. So flight limits is a new thing. You have a height limit. You can be on or off. If you set it to on and set your max height to however many meters you want, so if you want to limit yourself to 100 meters, you can do that right here, and that can be good for, that's necessary in certain countries for certain regulations, and we now have that built into our software, so that's great. Another thing you can do in the tool is check for a firmware upgrade, which we've just did in the last video. And that's here for check for updates as well, to check for an update for the new software. So that's your tool. And then in About, we can get an info screen. Now this is your screen where if you ever want to update to a new feature, such as 5 waypoints or single waypoint, which you can get for free once you have a 900 megahertz or 2.4 gigahertz downlink or data link, you can actually upgrade to single waypoint for free. Then you can purchase 5 waypoint or 50 waypoint access. The way you do that is copy your hardware ID right here, send that hardware ID to your dealer requesting the new activation of either single, 5, or 50 waypoint. Once we enable that feature for your hardware ID, you'll be emailed a serial number that looks like this, a long serial number. Copy that new serial number, put the new serial number in right here, and hit enter. Once you do that, you'll see single waypoint or 5 waypoint will now say enabled. So that's the process for enabling a certain feature. So pretty simple there. But anyways, that's a version, that's a look at getting your info off of the Wookong master controller. So that's right there, About, Info. Here's your language settings. Now here across the next row, you've got export, import, write, and read. Export is to export your current settings file to, you can say these were my settings from October 15th, these are my settings from November. You can do a date, or you can say these are my settings for using this type of payload. I have a different settings file for no payload, just for having fun and flying around with one battery. So it's real easy to do, to export different settings files. Import is to import those settings files to your master controller. And then write and read. So as you make changes, if I were to make a change here to the y-axis and say that I was, 15 centimeters off the y-axis, probably wouldn't be great, but you can see the y here is now red. So if I write that to the master controller, it's now written and that becomes black. So I'm going to change it back to 0. It's red, which means it's unwritten. I write it and it's now back to black, which means it's been written to the controller. So if I highlight this and say 10, but then I say read is going to read my current configuration off my master controller. So when I read, it changes it back to what my settings are in the master controller. So that's how write and read work. And other than that, down your left side, you've got your different screens for mounting, motor mixing, transmitter calibration, autopilot settings, gimbal, voltage, and those are your main setting screens. And as you scroll your mouse over the different setting screens, you'll see on the left side here you've got an explanation of what those settings are. So that's that kind of just gives you handy information. That information is all in the manual as well, but we try to provide it there as you scroll over the different channels. So that's a basic look at the assistant software. In the next video, we're going to go into a little bit more detail onto each of these screens and what you can do with each one. So thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next video.